Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live this morning, question and answer Friday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. I am. Did you have your vitamin C yet? Good for you. I know most of you. You listen, Brahim. How are you, my friend? Let's see your 4 coffee cups. There they are. Attaboy. Rosa from Montreal, good morning. Lori Lee, Ventura, California, nice to have you on. Tina, Nova Scotia. Nativity, how are you? Sheila, and from Sudbury, never heard of it. Mary, Norwich. Fran, Orangeville. And Linda, good morning. And Keith, how are you? Love you too, bro. Love you too. Chantal, Ottawa. Jerry, my friend from Nouveau-Brunswick. Nicole from our staff. Mary, Newfoundland. Betty Lynn, good morning from Brantford. Sherry. I want to sing Mississauga. And Wendy, how are you? Markham, Yalang, bonjour. Gloria, New York. And Faye, how is you? And Andrea, Nouveau-Brunswick. Alma, Sturgeon Falls. Faye, how are you? Terrace, British Columbia. Gord, nice to have you on. Zian, how are you? And Fran from Velcarin. Darlene, good morning to you. Donna, Newfoundland. Micheline, bonjour. And Nellie, how is you? Jeanette from our staff. And John, good morning. Judy, and from New Brunswick. Now, I don't know if I'll say Fiat Tumatu. I missed that name. Linda, Marlene. Maybe you want to bring that name back to me again so I can say it right. Jermaine. Sue, how is you? Manitoulin Island. Ron from Northern Idaho. How are you, Ron? Jackie. Belil. Mary, good morning. Milika, Stouffville. And Wendy from Aylmer. Zian, good morning. Heather, Miramichi. And Jean, or Jean, Hazel, St. John's, Newfoundland. Beautiful. IT, Unionville. Good morning. Yeah, beautiful day here too. Michelle. Missed again. Sorry, Michelle. Brenda. Marilyn. Kelowna. Victoria from Saskatchewan. Adeline. I missed so many of you. I don't mean to. There's Kevin. Marlene. And Sherry. Good morning. And it's Nativity's birthday, is it? Well, happy birthday, Nativity. Mary. I don't mind, guys. You want to tell me that it's your birthday from Connecticut. How are you, Bobby? And Sharon. Edith from Nova Scotia. Marina. Deer Lake, Newfoundland. And let me see, from New Zealand, Miles. Judy. Bruno. And Donna. Okay. Margie, how are you? Okay, let's get going, guys. We got Debbie, how is you? Camping in Long Point. Micheline, Luella, West Tennessee. Okay, Grace is asking what possibly could cause high potassium. Well, usually, high potassium can be very dangerous, by the way. It can give you a heart attack, okay? But whenever you got trouble with potassium, you got trouble with your kidneys. High potassium is kidney disease. You add some medications in there, generally Grace, that's what can give you high potassium. And then if you do have those high levels or someone you know, they usually give you a diuretic or whatever to eliminate that. But high potassium can be dangerous, but it's always, and so is low potassium, by the way, a sign of kidney disease, chronic kidney disease. Now, keep this in mind. You know, we always talk about potassium, okay? And I love potassium, by the way. And they talk about, well, what's the highest source of potassium? To get potassium, if you're low in it, bacon, very high in potassium. And people talk about avocados. Yeah. Bananas. Yeah, they got potassium. But bacon's got more, and bacon's better for you. How do you like that? There you go. Okay, Lena, what do I think of I'm like Lena, it says here C-E-L-L, salts. Now, I don't know what that is. Now, if it's Celtic salt, I like Celtic salt because it's real salt. And so is Himalayan salt. Make sure, guys, you got real salt, because salt, you know me, I got, even in my book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, I got a whole chapter on salt in there. How, the importance of salt, and what they blamed salt for what sugar does. We need salt. You cry salt. Your saliva is salt. You got salt in your blood. Salt, salt, salt. But if it's Celtic salt you're talking about, Lena, then it's very good for you. Cell salts, honestly, I've never heard of it. What is that? So I'm not sure if we just didn't get that question right. Sandra, androgen alopecia, is it reversible? But I've seen it reversed. When you got alopecia, that is autoimmune, okay? Losing the hair, it's autoimmune disorder. The body's turned on itself. So what do? Where do I always go? Any autoimmune. You tell me what I do first. Question to you, to my audience. What do I do first? If it's autoimmune, I want to see. Give me an answer. Yeah, April. You guys, again, Jackie, yeah. It's the gut. The gut. It's leaky gut. Always. Never seen a case of autoimmune where I didn't see leaky gut. And usually coming with the leaky gut is that invasion of the third army. Okay? You got good bacteria. You got bad bacteria, they make up your microbiome. Leaky gut is when that little microscopic lining in the gut, between the gut and the blood, gets compromised. And then you get the invasion of the third army. Whoop! In it goes, and you get yeast. That can affect your hair, skin, lungs, sinuses, joints, any organ in your body, your brain, MS, whatever. These are autoimmune disorders. Why do we see so much Parkinson's? Autoimmune disorder. Heavy metals, yes, but how do they get in there? How do they get into your brain? They are transported by candida, yeast, fungus. That does not belong in your blood, guys. Leaky gut, leaky hair. I'm telling you. Okay, but alopecia. I'm not talking about just ordinary hair loss. That could be thyroid. That could be the fact that you're a man. Most men lose their hair. Okay? Including me. Okay? Women, never normal to lose your hair. I guess when you're 80, you can thin it out a little bit. But generally, you see, a woman's hair is her glory. According to the Bible. The Bible's right. Women should have very beautiful hair. And when they don't, they got a problem. Men, not so much. Okay? But alopecia is an autoimmune disorder. And I've seen it reversed. I have. Not always, but I start with the gut. And I start with their diet. I start with probiotics. I change that microbiome. Okay, thanks for the question, Sandra. Her blood work showed sluggish thyroid when I sent it to you. Well, fix that thyroid too, Sandra. Fix that thyroid. Okay, Marilyn. Does Dr. Martin have any experience with transient global amnesia? I suffered this for about 10 hours last Friday. Yeah, I've had some experience with it. I've seen it. Look, generally, and you can't just say this is every time, Marilyn, but I would suggest ordinarily high cortisol. We wrote a newsletter yesterday or the day before about high cortisol, how it affects everything. And a lot of people have no symptoms. They don't feel like they're stressed. But you just have to understand that stress can come from different factors, even a bad diet. So check all that. The other thing with transient amnesia, always check brain. So cortisol could be a effect. Low B12, low vitamin D, or other factors, Marilyn. Check it out. Louise, what do you do for floaters? I take 3 DHA, good idea. Navitol plus the reset, good. They'll go away generally. Eyes is circulation. Floaters, circulation. Okay, and someone asked another question. Let me answer that too. Might as well do it right here. Someone asking about, I thought I saw, yeah, glaucoma. Betty, glaucoma in one eye. Can you have that? Yeah, it's usually in both. But again, you get pressure in the pressure in the eye, glaucoma. But guys, how does that start? Okay, and eyes, kidneys. What's their connection? Blood supply. Okay? What affects blood? What affects capillaries? Sugar. And I'm telling you, eyes are extremely sensitive to their blood supply. Okay? And so are kidneys. And that's why sugar is so detrimental. So you change that. One thing that really, really helps eyeballs is healthy fat like DHA. And I've proven that. I've proven it to optometrists who would listen. Showed them. Give this to your patient. Give high DHA for their eyes. It really, really lubricates the blood vessels. I love Navitol because of the elevation of nitric oxide. What is nitric oxide? An explosion. Nitroglycerin. Dynamite. What does nitric oxide do inside your body? Opens blood vessels. Increases blood supply. It's very, very, very important for eyes. Okay, let's go back now. Okay. That was Louise. Ann. A friend has been diagnosed with chronic leukemia. Okay. What advice can you share? Well, get in, look, the things that you can control in life, okay, and is food. And any kind of cancer, blood, breast, you name it, start with food. Lay off the sugars, lay off the vegetable oils through crappy carbohydrates, elimination. And then make sure you fix any leaky gut, any candida, any yeast. Get rid of it. If you don't feed it, that's a big thing. I love probiotics. High DHA is very important. Your immune system, eat vitamin S, steak. sun, steak, and steel. That's what you do. Okay, thanks, Ann. Gail, what do you think about berberine? Well, I think that's the last 4 Fridays I've had to answer questions about berberine. Look, I like berberine. Look, it's sort of the new kid on the block, okay? And again, I just got to tell you about my history, okay? You have to understand, I had a radio show for a long time, okay? And every month or so, there'd be a new kid on the block, I used to call it. It was sort of the superstar, okay? From melatonin to chaga to, I mean, you name it. It'd be a superstar. It was getting ink. It was the media, even on social media, whatever. They were picking it up. And then everybody, Doc, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about, like berberine, yeah. But it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Like it says it replaces metformin. Yeah, but so does coffee. It acts like metformin. Guys, I never tell patients to come off. I never tell my audience to come off medication. I won't do it. Okay? And they're talking about berberine being good for weight loss and blood sugar and insulin resistance and all this and that. And yeah. On its own, in my opinion, it's not bad, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about it because it's just the new kid on the block. People are hearing about it. And the reason they're hearing about berberine, let me tell you this, is because of Ozempic or whatever you call it. And these weight loss drugs have become very popular. So the natural product industry wants to put theirs up against these weight loss drugs. And by the way, you should see the studies now coming out. You need to be very careful about these weight loss drugs. You know, they promise weight loss. Yeah, you lose weight till you stop taking them. And then you gain your weight back. Look, I tell people this, I've been telling people this for so many years. It's like I'm a broken record, but here it is. You have to change fuels. It's not calories. It's not taking a medication. It's not even taking a supplement. I'm not against that. But what I'm against is when they tell you, oh, this is going to be a shortcut. This is the best thing since sliced bread. It usually comes out of Hollywood. People that want to be this big around, they want to be skinny as a rake in Hollywood. So then it catches fire and it comes across the media, and then you get these medications, and the pharmaceutical industry loves it because they're using drugs that are never meant for weight loss. And then they say, well, you know what? You lose about 10 pounds or 20 pounds. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, but they don't tell you about the side effects. Depression. I read a study yesterday on the side effects of weight loss medication, suicides. You just look. There's no shortcuts, guys. People say, Doc, you're telling us to eat eggs, meat, and cheese. Why? Even for losing weight. Because I said you need to fix your nutrients. It's not a matter of cutting back. It isn't. It's a matter of changing fuels. When the cells in your body get the right fuel, high octane, 99% fuel, your body will respond. If you go by calories, yeah, you can lose weight with calories, You eat 500 calories a day, you will lose weight, I promise. But here's the problem with it. You're going to gain all of it back. Why do you think, okay, why do you think on the show, true story, The Biggest Losers, do you know that show stopped in, I think it was 2016, and they've done a follow-up on all the people that lost hundreds of pounds. Here's the takeaway from that show, The Biggest Losers. They all gained their weight back. Because here was their motto, eat less, move more. Guys, they've been doing that for 100 years. Eat less, go to a doctor. Eat less, move more, and here's a medication so you won't be hungry. What are you going to do? Take that med the rest of your life? Changing fuels is the way to do it. When you have an egg, compare it to any carbohydrate. Any carbohydrate. You have an egg. You have bacon and eggs in the morning. Proven. You're not near as hungry. Why? You gave your body the right fuel. So I'm a fuel guy. If people insist on eating crappy carbs, I give them the analogy of the wood stove. You're going to have to stoke the fire several times a day if you want to heat your log home with paper and twigs. True or false? Is it better to put a log on the fire or to put a twig on the fire? Oh, a log. Yeah, that's right. That's eggs, meat, and cheese. Hey, guys, I know I look crazy. I know I do. I know I go against the grain, but that's weight loss in a nutshell. It's weight loss in a nutshell. And I got to be honest with you. Okay? I got to be honest with you. And I know we do it anyways, but I'm going to tell you, okay? Ladies, mostly, some men. Ladies, listen, Linda. When you put your weight above your health, you got it upside down. Don't put the cart before the horse. The reset, the reason I did it, in 50 years of practice, why did I do it? Because if you eat nutrient-dense foods, you fix insulin. Insulin is a growth hormone. It will make your fat cells grow, grow, grow. They will. And insulin, okay? Insulin has to come down. Insulin resistance. And as long as insulin is present, it will not allow fat to escape. It's a jail guard. So the reset, this is why I said it in my book, okay? I can get the page if I had time. I said it in my book. I will put the reset up against any other weight loss program ever. And the reason is because if it fixes insulin and insulin resistance, you're getting at the root of the problem. Okay? And study after study shows you better fix insulin. If you don't, it's going to be yo-yo dieting. And the world's into that. And there will always be a new kid coming on the block, always, for weight loss. There'll be a new kid on the block because we're susceptible to it. I understand it. You know, you think I don't understand that? I told you guys me, okay? I get on the scale all the time. Why? I have such a tendency to gain weight. I have to discipline myself every day. I'm married to an Italian. Oh, okay? And I love food. And I need to be careful. And I discipline myself. Self-control. It's not easy, but I know better. That's me, guys. That's me. So I'm very sympathetic. Very sympathetic. Okay? Margaret. Thanks, Gail, for the question. Margaret, why do some people have freckles? I don't know. I don't know. It's the way they're built. Like, you know, I know it's melon, it's melanin, I mean, it's, you know what I mean? I don't know. Sorry, Margaret. Do I still get the benefits by eating crispy bacon? Yep. Yeah, sure you do. Look, guys, I mean, you don't want to overcook things too much. But listen, you still get, here's, Margaret, what you get in bacon. Potassium. Oleic acid. The same oil that's in olive oil is in bacon. You got bacon, you got olive oil. I like bacon better. I like olive oil. I had some olive oil last night. I love it. Real good. Cold pressed. You know what I mean? Got to be real olive oil. Apparently today there's so many fake olive oils out there. I love olive oil. I do. But I like bacon better. It's better for you. Okay. Margaret, thanks for the question. Candace. Can we take quercetin ongoing? Look, I like quercetin. Okay? You get quercetin in coffee too. You know, why do we come up with quercetin? Well, because a lot of people were asking us about quercetin, and I like it for allergies. Okay? I really like quercetin for allergies. I combined that with Navital, found it to be extremely effective with my patients, okay? But yeah, you can stop taking it every once in a while. I don't think there's any reason to do it, though, if you like it. I like quercetin. Like I said, there's quercetin in coffee, too. See, guys? Vitamin C. Okay. Thanks, Candace. Leave. I answered this question last week, so people are asking. That's all right. Don't be shy. Humic and fulvic. What does Dr. Martin think of it? And my naturopath suggested I put a smidgen in 16 ounces of water each day. Well, look, okay, the reason they're telling you to do that is to chelate heavy metals out of your body, usually toxins, right? I look at it the other way, okay? And these, all due respect to your naturopath, okay? I'm careful with fulvic because it's soil and you're eating soil. Look, I like soil probiotics, okay, in a capsule. But I understand why they do it, but I find if you take a good broad spectrum probiotic, I find that better to detox. Secondly, you have to start with your liver, okay? The liver is the most important. Your kidneys too, but liver's even more. If you want to detox heavy metal, you need an empty liver. You got to get rid of the fat in the liver. How do you get fat in the liver? Sugar. Honey. Not honey. Somebody said to me the other day, don't you like honey? No, I'm calling you honey. Okay? When I say sugar, honey, I'm saying sugar's no good, and I'm calling you honey. Is that all right? I was in a restaurant the other day, and the waitress said, can I get you another coffee, honey? Okay, that's what I mean by that. Okay. Empty your liver. Probiotic. They're the best chelators in the world. Okay. Because when your liver is empty, you're making much more glutathione. Okay? Navitol increases your glutathione too, by the way. But I love glutathione. Your body makes it. Especially when your liver is empty. And glutathione is Velcro. And it'll detox you. If you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, your liver is going to be empty. Isn't that a good idea? Okay. Carolyn, vitamin D. Does the required daily level differ according to your sex, weight, and age? Not sex so much. Weight, yes. The bigger you are, the more vitamin D you need. People that are obese, they have very low levels of vitamin D. They need to get more sun or take more supplement of vitamin D. That's a fact. And the other thing is age, yes. The older you get, the less you absorb vitamin D. Okay? So I need more sun, not less. Okay? And the other one you divide it by is skin. The darker your skin, the more you don't absorb vitamin D. That's why the African American population and brown Indian, they need more vitamin D because their skin blocks it naturally. You need more of it. So good question. Thank you very much, Carolyn. And then babies, of course, right? They need less vitamin D. And, size does matter for sure. Georgina, how to stop bone loss and help up the bone density. The best thing you can do for your bones. Get strong. Weight resistant exercises will help your bones more than anything else. What is food for bones? Calcium, not supplement, food. Calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, and vitamin K2. Where's K2 found in food? With calcium, vitamin D, and magnesium, eggs, meat, and cheese. Butter, dairy, not milk, cream. Okay? You want strong bones? That's what you need to do. Okay? Thank you very much for the question. Okay. Wait a minute now. Okay, here's one. What does Dr. Martin think of ketamine IV treatment for depression? Well, ketamine is like an anesthetic. Look, I've read about it. Depression's no fun, right? But guys, I'd be careful with stuff like that. Like, short term, maybe help, and then long term, like anesthetic. I don't know. I got other ways of treating, and you go to my podcast, I think it's out now. I just did brand new on depression. I did it. Where is it? I think last week, maybe the week before. Let me just get you the title. Gotta look at my notes. You know me. Vitamin A. Wait a minute. No, that's not it. Stink. Where is it? Maybe it was, okay. Depression linked to melatonin, sleep, glial cells. Get that podcast and listen to it. And I do talk a lot about depression over the years. I got a new one coming out. Probably Monday we're going to do it. What's rotten in the state of Denmark? Okay, that's coming to you, coming to a theater near you, probably Monday. I'll talk about it. Okay, thanks for the question. And that was Anne. Helen, can Dr. Martin talk about casein and dairy, how I would know if it bothers me or has supposedly affected my brain? My naturopath is telling me to avoid dairy because of the casein. Well, look, casein is a protein in milk. Look, there's very little casein in cheese. That's why I like it. Okay? Casein can bother people. Okay? But usually, why do we see so much today? Okay? I'm a why guy. So why do we see so much dairy intolerance? Well, it's what they did to the dairy. You can't get whole milk anymore. You can't get, unless you have a cow in the backyard, it's illegal for you to even find it in Canada. And, they changed the dairy, so they denatured it. And there's a lot more lactose than there used to be. The casein, look, it's less of an issue than lactose. If, the test to do, okay, Helen, the test that you do, instead of, look, I'm not telling you not to listen to your naturopath. I'm just telling you, why don't you be Dr. Helen? Put a doctor in front of your name. Take dairy. If it bothers you, bothers your stomach, you develop mucus or whatever, your body's talking to you. Listen to it. Be Dr. Helen. Because some people, they ditch dairy instead of switching dairy. I don't like people ditching dairy. Because you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't drink milk. You don't need milk. Baby needs mommy's milk. And then it don't need milk after that. Wean it on water. Okay? Milk is way overrated, especially the one that you find in your grocery store. So be Dr. Helen is the best thing I can tell you. Karen, what does Dr. Martin think of turkey tail micronized mushrooms? Yeah, I like it. I like mushrooms. I think they're great. Supplement, meh. I like vitamin A better. Eat your steak. Eat your eggs. Eat your cheese. You got vitamin A in there. And vitamin A is your invisible mask for your immune system. Covers your eyes, nose, and mouth. Tell me a mask that will do that properly. Okay? Okay, Betty. I answered Betty's question. Thanks, Betty. Marianne, choline good for nerve pain. Yeah, I like choline. Choline, you eat eggs, you get a lot of choline. You eat meat, you get a lot of choline. Okay? And choline's very good for your brain. Very good for your nerves. Nerve pain. Yeah, eggs are the highest source of choline, by the way. Okay? Nerve pain. Yeah, well, if you get rid of sugar and you start eating a lot more eggs for choline and meat for choline, cheese for choline, your nerve pain usually get better. But the other thing with nerve pain I find is low levels of B12. Okay, Marianne? Arlene, what makes a child sleepwalk? Usually trouble with their circadian rhythm. They're usually low levels. When I used to treat it in the office, low levels of melatonin. Now, I'm not saying give them melatonin. I get them in the sun. But usually that's what I saw. Joanne, quercetin and Navital are both good for the lungs. Do I need both? Yeah, by the way, that's why I was saying allergies with quercetin. Any lung problems, I always recommended quercetin, okay? So, hey, do you need both? Not necessarily, but lungs sometimes I would put them on quercetin with Navital. Thank you for the question, Joanne. Sherry, I need to wear support pantyhose for varicose veins. Okay, not prescription. Will the exposure to vitamin D from the sun still go through the hose? A little bit, as long as you don't have sunscreen on. But if your arms are exposed, you get it there too, okay? So those are your big solar panels, arms and legs. You probably would get less, Sherry, from your legs, but use your arms, okay? Louise, love red meat, but I have a concern about the amount of IGF-1 I am consuming. Louise, look. Okay. Look. And I guys, okay. Here's my philosophy. I'm going to tell you so that you know. And you've heard this before. When you're on the Titanic, when you're in the 93% of the population that's unhealthy, until you get to the top 1%, which most of you are, by the way. But if you're in the 93% that are in trouble, you're on the Titanic, don't worry about the deck chairs. When I say eggs, meat, and cheese, I mean eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay? Now, when you're in the top percentile, Louise, and you might be there, then you can look at fixing the deck chairs. So if you want to go organic, you can afford organic meat. You got a farmer that's your best friend, go for it. You get all your vegetables that are organic, good for you. I got no problem with that. But don't fool yourself, okay, Louise? Don't fool yourself. Because I don't care how organic you think the world is, your farmer next door, believe me, there isn't a place on planet Earth, including Costa Rica, that hasn't been affected by the environment, that hasn't been affected by plastic, that hasn't been affected by xenoestrogens, that hasn't been affected by growth hormones, that you just can't go anywhere, including organic, that it'll be perfect. You can do a garden in the backyard. You can have a cow in the backyard. Is it better? For sure, it's better. Is it perfect? No. We don't live in a perfect world anymore. I don't concern myself too much with the things I can't control. And like I said, you have to understand on my program, I'm aiming generally at the 93% of the population that are in big doo-doo. They're in trouble. Their health. They're on their way to hitting the iceberg if they haven't already hit it. And so for me, that's my philosophy. I hope you appreciate it, because that's where I come from. So when you tell me that, yeah. But if you take probiotics, it's one of the biggest things in chelation. Chelation means it captures toxins. I love when you fix leaky gut, when you take probiotic. I'm big big, never going to change my mind on probiotics. I've been saying it for 50 years when people didn't even know what they were. Okay, I get excited. Okay, Tony, I love Tony. I'm just diagnosed with cyst polyps on my vocal cord. Well, look, here's what you do. Here's what you do. Like, I'm not going to tell you to get surgery, don't get surgery, whatever, okay? I'm not saying that. 2 things going to make things grow in your body, okay? Polyps. They grow. They need fuel to grow. They need insulin. It's a growth hormone. Get it down, Tony. 2, they need estrogen. They need estrogen. Estrogen is a growth hormone. Get that down. Okay? So, Tony, that's me. And don't feed the bears. Don't give it sugar. Okay? Tumors or polyps need fuel. And they're going to look for sugar too. Okay. Thank you. And the last one. Susan, plantar warts. Fungal? Usually viral. You want to build your immune system. Yeah, and you know what? Fungus can get there too. Okay, so clean up leaky gut. Oil of oregano right there on the spot. That's what I like. Okay, oil of oregano. Big time. Okay, guys. Okay, we got a great week coming. Remind you of the book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. Thank you for just making that the #1 seller out of the gate in Canada. Thank you for that. If you haven't got your copy, get your copy. We love your support. Thank you for that. Thank you for supporting this podcast. You have no idea how much we love you and how smart you are. You're smart. You listen, Linda. Okay, guys. Love you. Talk to you soon.